Hello guys, Mr. Clint here. Today we'll be discussing significant figures and rounding off numbers, so please listen to the discussion and don't forget to take down notes.
Mathematics Online.
Today we will be discussing about significant figures. Now, what is significant figures? Significant figures, these are all known digits. And it helps us to see how accurate we are in measuring and calculating. All right, again, significant figures. Significant figures, these are known digits. All right, significant figures are known digits, and it helps us see how accurate we are in measuring and calculating. All right, so means to say in a longer number we can make it short, or it's a shorter number we can make it long, and by counting the significant figures in it. Now, to do that, there are certain rules that we need to follow. Okay, there are certain rules that we need to follow. All right, now when can we say that the figure is significant? When? First one, all, none, zero numbers are significant. All right, again, all non-zero numbers, all non-zero numbers, okay, are significant. I'll give you an example. Okay, example 1 is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are all significant figures. There's no zero on it. All right. Second example, if you have 452, 452, there's no digit on it, or no zero on it. I mean, there's no zero on it. So therefore, there are 1, 2, 3. There are 3 significant figures. All right. So again, non-zero numbers are all significant. All right. Rule number 2. Zeros between non-zeros are significant. All right, again, zeros, there's a word, between non-zeros are significant. All right, between non-zeros are significant. Example, if you have 340,004, right? 340,004. Now notice, in between, there's a zero. All right? There's a zero in between. This is between non-zero. Between non-zero. Now, since they are in between, if you're asked how many significant figures are there, so therefore you are going to start counting as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So therefore there are 6 significant, right? there are 6 significant figures. Once the 0 is in between, alright, once the 0 is in between these non-zero digits, alright, so that's the second rule, so that we will know if the figure is significant or not. Now let's go for the third rule, to know whether the figure is significant or not. Zeros at the end of significant figures and after a decimal point are significant. Alright, again, the third rule. Okay, zeros at the end of a significant figures, at the end, alright? Remember the word, at the end of the same, and after a decimal point, they are significant. Okay? After the decimal point. Example. We have 74.00. Now, I need you to focus your attention here. You have a decimal point. So the zeros after the decimal point, this one, okay, this becomes significant because it comes after the alright, it comes after the decimal point. Alright, now if you're going to be asked how many significant figures are there, then you start counting as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So therefore there are 4 significant figures. Alright, there are 4 significant figures. Another example. Alright, another example. If you have 29.20, now if you're going to look at it, there's a 0 here and there's a decimal point here. So it means to say the digits after the decimal point is significant. Okay, so you are going to start counting as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the answer would be 4 significant figures. Alright, because it comes after the decimal point. So again, let's review on the 3 rules that would determine whether the figure or the digits are significant. Okay, first is all non-zero numbers are significant. Second, zeros between non-zeros are significant. Third, zeros at the end of the significant figures and after the decimal point are significant. No, when, alright, question is when is 0 not significant? Okay, when is 0 not significant? Alright, when is 0 becomes not significant? Alright, then we have to remember 2 things. A is 0, alright, before the significant figure. Alright, zeros before the significant figure. Again, remember the word before. Zeros before the significant figure before. All right, before. So let's have an example for that. All right, for example, we have 0.00678. Okay, now there is a decimal point here, and there are zeros before the significant figures, and this is our significant figure here. Okay, these are zeros before the significant figures, because this one here is, all right, this one here is significant. Okay, now since that is significant, so therefore when we're going to count it, we count it as 1, 2, 3. We're not going to include the 0, so therefore there are 3 significant figures. All right, next, when is 0 not significant? Letter B, zeros after significant figures if there is no decimal point. All right, again, focus on this. Zeros after significant figures with no decimal point. Okay, zeros after the significant figures if there's no decimal point and it is not significant. Example, all right, if we have 75,000, okay, now there is a 0 after these two significant figures. All right, and it's non-decimal. Okay, it's non-decimal. So therefore, this one here is not significant. So the answer would be, you start counting as 1, 2. So there are only 2. There's only 2 significant figures. All right, there's only two significant figures. All right, so remember that if the 0 comes after the significant figure and it is a non-decimal, therefore that 0 is not significant. Okay, so 2 things that you have to remember so that you will know if the zeros are significant or not, or the 0 is not significant. Zeros before the significant figure and after the significant figure without decimal. Okay, so those are the things that you need to remember. All right, so I need you to focus on that. Then we proceed to the next thing that we are going to have. Okay, next is, how do we calculate significant figures? Alright, but before we're going to do that, let's proceed first to our next lesson for today, which is rounding of numbers. Okay, this is our next lesson for today, which is rounding off numbers. Now, when we are rounding off, okay, when we are rounding, remember these things, all right? Remember, A, less than 5, all right? Less than 5, keep all numbers before it the same. All right, nothing will change. Second, remember this. All right, second, if it is 5 or more, round the last digit you keep up. Okay, again, when we are trying to round off numbers, okay, when we are trying to round off numbers, remember two things. First, if it's less than 5, all right, if it's less than 5, keep all numbers before it the same. Second, if the number is 5 or more, if the number is 5 or more, round the last digit you kept up. Okay, example, all right, round the following to 3 significant figures. All right, 3 significant figures. Number 1, 1.5587. 3 significant figures, so therefore you are going to count as 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And after that, because it is 3 significant figures, you look at the number after that. If this one is more than 5, then you add this one here, should be plus 1. Okay? If the number after that is more than 5, then the number before that is plus 1. So therefore, the answer here is 1.56. Okay? Second example. If you have 0.006245. Now, it says 3 significant figures. Again, focus on the significant figures. So therefore, you are going to go to count here. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so you look at the number after that, which is 5. Now, by the way, why is this number here not being counted? Because by the rule of significant figures, this one here is not significant. That's why we start counting to 6 to 4. Yeah, but when you try to write your final answer, you still have to write the point 00, all right, 6, 2, and it is this one here. This is 5 or more. So therefore this one here is going to be plus 1. So it becomes 5. So the answer would be this, and the answer would be that. Okay, again, these digits here are not significant. Alright, I'll give you another example. Third one. 3, 5, 6, 8. Now, they are all significant because rule number 1, these are non-zero digits. So therefore, we just have to count 1, 2, 3. And we look at the number after that. If this one is 5 or more, then therefore this is plus 1. So therefore the final answer is 3, 5, 7. Alright, 3, 5, 7. Alright, is there any question with rounding off number? Please leave a comment after this. Next, now that we know how to round off numbers, then we go for how are we going to use significant figures in calculating. Alright, rules I have here. In calculating significant Alright, rules in calculating significant figures. Number 1, if we are going to do addition or subtraction, so means to say they have the same rule. Alright, addition and subtraction. Now, the rule is round to the fewest number of decimal places. Alright, again, these are rules when we're trying to use significant figures in calculating. Alright, remember the rules. The first rule is when we are going to add and subtract. It says that round to the fewest, alright, decimal places. Example. We have 2.36 plus 6.497. Alright, 2.36 plus 6.497. The answer is equals to 8.86. Okay, 8.86. Why? Because these are in 2 decimal places. Right? This one here is in 2 decimal places. So therefore we have to convert this into 2 decimal places. So therefore this one becomes, here becomes 6.50. Alright? 6.50. So therefore we write here 2.36 plus 6.50 is equals to 8.86. Means to say this side here we round off. Alright? Remember that. Next, what if we're trying to multiply and dividing? Okay, number 2, multiplication and division. Alright, multiplication and division. Again, we use the round to the fewest number of significant figures. All right, to the fewest. Okay, here we are going to add and subtract. When we round to the name, again we round off. Next is when we are going to do again also the multiplication and division, you have to do the same, round off to the fewest number of significant figures. So let's have an example. Okay, let's have an example. We have 6.7 times 2.476. The answer is 17. How do we do that? By rounding off numbers. We try to round off the numbers. Okay. Number 2. All right, 0.0024 times 0.0614. The answer is 0.064. All right, again, what you do is you try to round off the figures. Okay, try to round off the figures. If this one in one decimal place, so therefore this one here should be on one decimal place. Okay, if this one here is in 3 significant figures, this one here should be in 3 significant figures. All right, you have to focus down on the significant figures. That is how, all right, that is how we're going to multiply and divide significant figures. Okay, now rules in calculating significant figures, addition and subtraction, they have the same rule. Now the only difference between addition and subtraction and multiplication and division is, in addition and subtraction it says to the number of decimal places, while in multiplication and division it is in significant figures. So therefore in this example, if there are 2 significant figures here, if there are 2 significant figures, this one here should be in the 2 significant figures. All right, in 2 significant figures. All right, so you have to round off those numbers based on significant figures. Unlike addition and subtraction, you have to do it using decimal places. All right, there you go, guys. First is we define what is significant figures. All right, we define what a significant figure is, and then we determine the 3 rules to determine whether the figures are significant by determining 3 rules, and also we determine when is the figure become not significant, when we have 2 rules to follow, and after that we learn how to round off numbers. There are 2 things to remember, and then we try to use significant figures in calculating numbers. For addition and subtraction, they have the same rules, the fewest decimal places, remember that, and for multiplication and division, for the fewest number of significant figures. Alright, okay, don't forget, guys, at the end of this lesson there will be a worksheet. Alright, given. Alright, there will be a worksheet given. Make sure to answer it. Answer it. Okay? So if you have any question, feel free to ask. I'm very much willing to answer every question that you're going to have. I hope significant figures and rounding off numbers is clear, and even its rules in how to calculate significant figures. Okay, thank you.